Good morning, students. As I will be sharing the next part of this chapter, there where we have already discussed consumer equilibrium. Now, certain assumptions are to be discussed here. First assumptions, which is related to the assumption relating to the consumer equilibrium, that is rational consumer. Now, rational consumer is assumed where it is a person who wants to get maximum satisfaction out of the given income which he acquires. That is the rational consumer. Now here he is assuming that the consumer should be rational enough. Second is cardinal utility, like the numbers. Every commodity can be measured in terms of cardinal numbers. The third is independent utility. It is assumed that the utility that a consumer will get from a commodity should be independent enough, or should depends on the quantity of the very commodity which is alone. It is not affected by the consumption of other commodities. That is independent utility. MU here is marginal utility of money, which is assumed to be constant. That means it measures the marginal utility as such which should remain constant in order to serve as an ideal measure for a consumer equilibrium. Now, marginal utility analysis and consumer equilibrium. Now we will be addressing the basic question as how much the commodity a consumer buy so that his consumption can be maximized or his satisfaction can be maximized and he can attain the point of equilibrium. Now in the MU analysis there are two theories to be solved. First is when only one commodity is consumed, and second is when two or more commodities are consumed. Today we will be learning only where one commodity is consumed. Now here the consumer equilibrium, in one commodity case there are certain factors which are involved. First is the price of the commodity, second is the marginal utility of that particular commodity, third is the marginal utility of money. Now here I have written the definition of marginal utility of money. Now marginal utility of money is also known as worth of a rupee to a consumer. Now what do you mean by marginal utility of money? In terms of utility that the person derives from a standard basket, like 500 grams of sugar, 1 kg of rice, 500 grams of salt. These are the standard baskets of goods that he or she can buy with a given amount of a rupee. That is known as marginal utility of rupee. Now suppose, for example, if a rupee can buy 500 grams of sugar, which represents a standard basket, then 4 is to be taken as marginal utility. Why? Because if total utility of this good, say 4 utils, then the consumer will be considering 4 as the marginal utility of money. This becomes his standard reference whenever he is buying any commodity, that buying a unit of that commodity for a particular period of time expects the consumer to be 4 units of utility from the consumption of that commodity. Here I have said that we will be assuming marginal utility of money to be constant. Here I have certain assumptions to be made. Like suppose marginal utility of money for the consumer I have taken is 2 utils. Now X, suppose chocolates will be the X to be the commodity which he or she intends to buy. Price of X, which we are assuming to be rupees 4 per unit. Now I have assumed certain units of a commodity of that chocolates. First unit, second unit, third unit, fourth unit, fifth unit and sixth unit. Similarly, I have assumed the marginal utility of that particular commodity to be satisfied, that is 20, 18, 16, 8, 0, minus 5. Now when I talk in terms of rupees with respect to the marginal utility, I have taken here assume that 2 utils will be equal to 1 rupee. Okay, so similar arithmetic calculation. I have given a simple division which will be only 2 utils. I have to divide it by 2. So every marginal utility of that commodity should be divided by the 2, as we have assumed here that 2 utils is equivalent to 1 rupee. So as we have done this division, that is 20 divided by 2, 18 by 2, 16 by 2, 8 by 2, 0 by 2, minus 5 by 2. We are getting marginal utility in terms of rupees and it is in decreasing order. So first question which arises that how much or how many units of that chocolate of X commodity that the consumer will purchase so that he or she will be in a state of equilibrium. If I consider this first unit, basically 4 was the price, so 10 rupees we are giving a worth of it. So obviously he will buy the first unit. Now when he will stop the consumption pattern, when he sees that marginal utility of X is equivalent to price of that X, which is 4 rupees, that is what is worth and what he spends is equivalent in terms of marginal utility, that at that time the consumer will stop purchasing that commodity for a period of time, and he will be in a state of equilibrium in case of one commodity. If you have any doubt, do let me know, students. Tomorrow we will be discussing on this topic only, and thank you.